Shalom, family. Good to see everybody here. So, what we're going to do is go over Donald Trump and why he has not left the country. It's a way deeper than him just being a felon. So, we're going to go over that. And his passport problems actually started a few years before he was convicted. And some of you may know this and some may not, but I'm going to go over this with you so you can see how this all began for Donald Trump. Right. Put this together. Okay, let me share my screen. Okay, please give me a 1 if you can see my screen. Give me a 1 if you can see my screen. Now, when I was over on Big Judah, he brought up Donald Trump has not left the country. And I wrote in the chat, Donald Trump is a convicted felon and he really can't leave the country. That's why JD Vance is going all over the place. But his passport problems started long before his conviction. Now, do y'all remember when Mar-a-Lago was raided? Do y'all remember when they went down to Mar-a-Lago after Donald Trump left office and he got raided because he took unauthorized, highly classified documents with him? So what happened, y'all, when the FBI, first of all, they gave Donald Trump ample time to turn all of that information back over to Washington, D.C. Donald Trump took those files back in 2020 when he left office. Okay. When Donald Trump failed to return all of that classified info, that's when he got raided by the FBI 2 years later. They raided him in 2022. Well, while the FBI was down there, they found Donald Trump's passports. He apparently had more than one. They took his passports with them when they seized the documents. In fact, Donald Trump was screaming and hollering for his passports to be returned. The FBI had the passports and turned his passports over to the DOJ. The DOJ copied and took all the information off of his passport. And let me tell you why. Because Donald Trump had all those highly classified documents, they didn't know who he shared that information, who saw the information. They didn't know. So they took the passport to kind of monitor Donald Trump's movement. So he couldn't get his passports back initially. They did say they were going to return it, but Donald Trump had to hire lawyers to get his passports back from the DOJ. And I think they took his passport because they knew at that point, because he had all those highly classified documents, they couldn't trust Donald Trump. They can't trust him. So this was actually the beginning of his passport issues right here back in 2022. That was the beginning. So now many of you have heard that he can't travel to many countries now because he's got those 34 felonies on him. And that is true. All right. So here, I don't know if you can see these, but a lot of these countries he traveled to during his first administration. Okay. So he can't go to those same countries now. So you're going to see JD Vance traveling a lot because Donald Trump really can't. He can't gain entry even into Canada or Mexico with his 34 convictions. So if somebody's got to go to Canada, it can be anybody but Donald Trump. All right. And no defense, but at the rate he's putting all these tariffs out, I doubt if many of these countries would welcome Donald Trump anyway. I don't think they would welcome him at all. But Donald Trump actually made himself a security risk when he took those documents and failed to return them on his own. That's when he became a security risk. And to this day, I still believe they follow Donald Trump's movements from that time on of him having those documents. So his problems with his passport began long before his actual conviction. But I'm not surprised that when he was convicted, yeah, I mean, where can he go? He can't go anywhere. He can't, you know? So he's got to stay in the US whether he likes it or not. I'm sure he don't like it, but he doesn't have a choice. Well, yeah, Vance got to be the other person. He's the VP. I mean, who else is he going to send? So he's going to send his VP. So he's going to have to do all the footwork that Donald Trump would have done, but he can't do. All right. Why do you think Donald Trump hates the FBI and was talking about uh, getting rid of the FBI? Because he's sore about them raiding Mar-a-Lago and taking his passport. You know how Donald Trump is. Donald Trump holds grudges. Okay, that's what this man do. He holds grudges. He don't let nothing go. And this is just the person he is. But he can't go nowhere. So even if you have like the G7 that they have every year, he'll have to send JD Vance to sit in for him. He can't go. No, they do care, Chris G. Trust me. They are watching Donald Trump's movements. They are. They are. They've been watching his movements since the time they raided him, all the way up until now. They have been keeping their eye on Donald Trump. And I don't blame them because you don't know who he shared that information with. And Donald Trump got a big mouth on top of that. He blabs everything. You can't take your eye off of Donald Trump. It is very obvious that man can't be trusted. Hmm. Yeah. I mean, this man, you don't know what he's going to do or say. You just don't know. So that's why Donald Trump, that picture I put up, that's back in, I believe, 2016 when he went over to visit the Pope. He was able to do that back then. But today, I mean, if anybody goes to the Pope's funeral, it can't be Donald Trump because even Italy would not give him entry into the country. So just before, a few days before the Pope died, JD Vance was there. This is a picture of JD Vance with the Pope just a day or two before the Pope actually died. So if there's a funeral, more than likely JD Vance would have to be the stand-in for Donald Trump. Hmm. Yeah. So that's pretty much it. Donald Trump really did this to himself. Yeah, you might be the sitting president, but you can't really go anywhere. Not unless they have something in the United States. If no leaders come here, then he's pretty much screwed. He won't be able to really interact with them in person like that. Hmm. Yeah, he don't have limited travel, Misha Williams. He can't travel, period. He can't do it. Like I said, he can't even go to Canada. He couldn't even go to the Caribbean right now. He would not even be able to board a plane and go to Bermuda. Hmm. Yeah, well, it's embarrassing. You got a president that's a convicted felon, and the whole world knows that he's a convicted felon. And I'm sure they're laughing about it. I don't blame them. I would laugh about it too if I were them. Mm. Yeah, it's the same way for anyone that have a felony. It's not just Donald Trump. And, just because he's the president, they are not going to relax the laws for Donald Trump. He's got to abide, when you're a convicted felon, he's got to abide by the same rules anybody else up in here would have to abide by if they had a felon. They're not going to make exceptions for Donald Trump, even if he is president. Okay. They will not make any exceptions for him. He's got to follow the same laws when it comes down to having his felonies. Hmm. I mean, he can't even vote. Your president can't vote. He can't have a gun. There's a lot of things as a felon he can't do. He can't even have a handgun. He can't do that either. Hmm. Well, Willie, he's going to have to listen to it or he's going to be locked up. See, that's why Donald Trump wants to be president because he fears going to jail. That's why that's really it's not for any other reason. He don't care about this place. Look at what he's sitting there doing. He's literally taken down the government. He fears going to jail. He knows as a sitting president, they can't jail him as long as he is a sitting president. He has that immunity. Once that immunity is gone and Donald Trump break the rules, they can put him in the slammer. And he's afraid of that. I mean, if they raided him once, you think they won't raid him again if they thought that Donald Trump was doing something shady? Of course they will. They'll raid his ass again. They already did it once. They'll do it again if they think he's up to something. For real. He was not above getting raided, was he? Monica Gregory, thank you so much for the super sticker. I do appreciate your support for my channel. So, y'all, I'm going to conclude. Yeah, that's why. Exactly. S. Dowdy. That's why he's sitting there talking about being the president a third term, because then he still has that same immunity where a sitting president can't go to jail. All right. Donald Trump is not looking for a third term because he loves this country. He's looking for a third term to keep his ass out of jail. That's the only reason why he wants that third term. The longer he sits in office, he knows he's untouchable. But the moment he's out of office, he is now just a regular U.S. citizen, and they can come after him like they already did. Okay? They already did come after him, and they'll do it again. Um, Dina, yeah. Thank you so much for the super sticker. Well, Willie, Israel, if he was not being held accountable, he wouldn't have the 34 convictions on him now. Wouldn't he just be free? He knows if he crossed that line, he can be in a lot of trouble. The only reason why Donald Trump is sitting in office is his self-serving reasons. It's not for anyone else, not even this country. It's about saving his own behind. That's the only reason why his butt wants to be the sitting president. So anyway, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and conclude. Thank you so much for being here. And we'll definitely do this again real soon. Lion Pride 11241968. Shabbat Shalom and stay strong. Mishkapa, Lisa Cabrera. Thank you. Thank you for your super chat. I deeply appreciate it. Okay, y'all. Shalom, family.